going to start with interview skills. I hope you can have a look at my screen. Rather, I would not play the slideshow today because I have to switch between different PPTs. Now, if you can see my screen, this is a PPT that I had created. But along with that, I found out a PPT from internet. So this is, this is a PPT on sample answers for interviews. I found it really relevant and good, so I downloaded it, and we'll discuss this one along the way. Also, another document that I could find out from internet was on some of the sample answers which are given. If you can see my screen, question number 1, then what can be said in this answer, and one example is given. Then question number 2, similarly. But these questions, these answers, these sample answers, basically I found out that are for those people who have some experience. So if you don't find it very relevant, then this PPT would help you to give you some kind of samples, the other one, right? But before giving you answers, I would like to brainstorm with you today. So in today's session, what we are going to do, we are going to brainstorm certain answers. I'll be asking you questions and expecting some good answers. Now, interview skills, I'll start with the interview questions straight away, and we'll discuss about other nuances, how to behave, what to wear, what to carry, etc. by the end of the class, or if not, then maybe in the next class. So right now, it's important to discuss the answers. Interview questions, the first question obviously will be, tell us about yourself. It is absolutely similar to what we discussed when we covered self-introduction, and you have already submitted an assignment on that, right? And I mean, all of you spoke really well in your assessment. Now, assume that that was a 2-minute introduction that I asked you to prepare, but now we are compressing it to less than a minute introduction, right? So when the interviewer asks you why we are doing it, I hope you know that we have an assessment which is part of end-term exam, which is interview, right? So I'll be taking your interviews and I'll be assessing you for that, okay? And somebody else might also come in if they want, I mean some other faculty member. So that will be a kind of panel interview, 2 people asking you questions, right? So be prepared for that. So that is the reason we are discussing it today. We'll do it in a week's time, or maybe 10 days. We'll start with the evaluation process, and we might need some extra hours for this too, because it will be 1-to-1. It is part of end-term exam, but since it cannot be conducted on the written exam day, so we are doing it before the exam, right? So we'll be starting out in the month of March itself, before the end-term exam starts. So today we are actually discussing, brainstorming what should be the right answer. So 2-minute introduction that you already gave, let's compress it to 1 minute, or let's say 40 seconds, 50 seconds, and how to compress it and how to answer it very effectively. Let us see. I'll ask you and you respond to me. I mean, it's open, right? So I'm not forcing anybody to speak, but if you're speaking, can you please turn on your camera for a while and answer? Okay, tell us about yourself. What should be the right answer? Anybody, please volunteer quickly. We have certain questions to cover today. Yes? Who would like to start? Or if you don't say, then I'll have to ask you. And don't run away, please. Don't get scared of these things. These are, I'm your friend and I'm asking you because I want you to create a perfect answer for the final assessment. Who would like to start? Yes? Or should I ask randomly? Okay, Kashish, are you there? Kashish? Kashish?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me? Can you turn on your camera for a while, please, for a few seconds?
Ma'am, actually, I'm at an appointment of a doctor and waiting here, so I cannot turn on my camera, but I can speak.
Okay, so please answer this question. Tell me about yourself. The first question in the interview.
My name is Kashish Arora. I belong to Delhi and I have completed my schooling from Sai Memorial Girls School from humanities background and I excel in coding. That's why I have learned Python in my class 12.
Okay. What else?
What else?
Okay, okay. So thank you. Let me hear it from some other people and then we'll come to the concrete answer. Yes, Ravi, would you like to add something? Would you like to introduce yourself? Ravi? Ravi? Okay, no response. Himangi, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Please don't leave the class. Tell your friends not to leave the class. This is not a test, right? This is a discussion. So I can see people leaving the class because I'm asking questions. Please
Yes,
don't do
ma'am.
that. This is a rehearsal that we are doing. I'm not taking your test. I'm not evaluating. Okay, Himangi, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you tell me about yourself?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Himangi. I am 19 years old. I have done my schooling from St. Efficiency Memorial Senior Secondary School from commerce background. I have I have learned Python in my 12th class. Right now I am pursuing BCA from DSU. My मैम
Okay.
एम भी बता सकते हैं वैसे अगर मैं बताना तो
Whatever you feel like, you tell and then we'll decide.
Okay, and my aim is to become a good person and thank you, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So, Pranav, can you answer this question because you had spoken well in the self-introduction speaking skills. Pranav?
Ma'am, I can give it a try.
Yeah,
I don't
why not?
remember all of it.
No. You don't have to remember. It should be spontaneous. But the thing is that you need to understand the structure.
Yes,
Yeah.
So, my name is Pranav Sharma. I'm from South Delhi. I've completed my senior secondary from Birla Vidyaniketan, Pushkar. I'm currently pursuing BCA in Ambedkar Institute of Technology under the Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University, DSCU. I'm an avid learner and I've been learning different languages, Python, C++, HTML, CSS, and I've been working on projects. I'm also interested in machine learning and artificial intelligence, and I would like to work towards its development and application.
Okay. Wonderful, in fact, Pranav. For both Himangi and Kashish, if you are listening. Now, let's understand the structure again. I have already discussed with you, but I'm repeating it today. When you are starting out, let's say we have just few seconds to introduce ourselves and you are so and so, you are from Delhi, you want to speak, you want to omit it, it's your wish. I mean, you have to design it, right? 40 seconds. Have the aim of 40 seconds and see if you can include in those 40 seconds about where you are from Delhi or which part of Delhi is it important to tell. It is important if maybe the job is or the internship that some company is offering is outstation, then it's important. Otherwise you may omit this information. Then comes the information about your schooling. Again, I would say that if the time is short and it is a brief introduction, you can omit it, that I have done my 12th from this particular school. It's optional. Why? Because it is already written in your resume, isn't it? What is important right now is what are you doing currently? You are pursuing BCA from Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University, complete name, don't say DSCU. And along with that, you can mention that I have done these languages or I have learned these languages or I have some certifications in these languages during my 12th standard. Right, during my school days, during my 12th, during my 11th, whatever you have, you can mention. So just like Kashish and Himangi said that you have some background of Python or any other language, you can club it with the past experience along with the current educational qualification that you are doing. So let's say, let's not talk about 12th. No hard and fast rule, but that's an option, right? So if we are not talking about 12th, we can say that I'm pursuing BCA and I have done these programming languages in my 12th. Obviously, you are 12th pass. That's why you are here doing your graduation, right? So when you say this, the interviewer knows that you have a keen interest in computers. It's not that by chance that you have come to a BCA course, right? It's not by chance. It's by choice. So you have joined BCA because you already had interest and you have learned these languages already. So you're becoming proficient in those now during your graduation. Then, just like Pranav explained, I am an avid learner. I have keen interest I keep on learning different languages, or I have some projects. So when you say Pranav, projects, you can actually name a few that I'm doing some projects on 1, 2, 3 areas, right? So that actually explains about your interest in computer or in any field of computer. Plus, it also gives the interviewer an idea about your skills that you are acquiring, technical as well as personal skills. So let us also talk something about our personal skills. Just like Pranav said, I'm an avid learner. Maybe Pranav, you can include one more skill along with that, and that will be actually a complete introduction for 40 seconds. So I hope you're getting everybody. So everybody, are you listening? I hope you're getting it right. Let's have a look at the sample example. Now, sample. Now this is not the perfect example, right? But I have picked it from internet and I liked it. For example, read the first one. I'm really energetic and a great communicator. One line on your skills. Working in sales for 2 years helped me to build confidence and taught me the importance of customer loyalty. Why he's talking about confidence, customer loyalty, communication skills, because that is required in sales, isn't it? So something that's required in a particular job profile or internship or a project that you are highlighting along with your experience. So in just one line, you are actually highlighting your background, what you have done, 2 years experience, plus what it taught you. So your introduction actually is something which is not there in the resume. Resume tells the interviewer about your educational qualification for sure, but current qualification is important to mention, not the past one, right? But if you have done some certifications or languages, you can definitely mention it at the first go so that the person knows that, okay, I'm looking for a person who knows multiple programming languages, so he'll be a perfect fit for this job, right? So this is one example. Similarly, a lot of in other examples, a lot of words are used which are again those adjectives that which we have been talking about since the beginning of this session. That we need to understand, we need to identify what are our strengths, what are our skills. So we are actually using those words in the introduction. So it is not important to tell the interviewer that how old are you? I'm 18 years old, I'm 19 years old, doesn't matter at all. I'm from Delhi, doesn't matter if the position is in Delhi itself. If the position is somewhere outside, then you need to mention that I'm from Delhi, because the person you will have to relocate to that place. So relocating would mean an extra effort, and the company will have to arrange for the lodging. So that is the reason we tell the interviewer about our belongingness. Otherwise, it is not required. Particularly for family, some people still talk about their family. So don't talk about your families in the introduction, right? Family is a separate question that comes later. But if Himangi and Kashish are listening, then I hope that the way you started was absolutely fine. But towards the end, you need to add something about your skills or your strengths, because that will make your introduction complete, right? That is more important than your 12th and your any past education or your age, right? So this is more important. That is just flashing in front of you on this slide. Okay, let's go ahead now. Another important question, very very important question, is what are your strengths and weaknesses? Let me discuss quickly with you, and then I'll ask you. And don't worry, don't run away if I'm asking you, okay? So So strengths we have already discussed n number of times when we started out the session, when we started out these classes, we played an adjective game where I asked you to identify three words, three adjectives that actually describe your personality, or one word perhaps. I think I asked you to add one word. So that was your strength, something that's innate in you. That is innate मतलब जो आपकी inborn quality हो सकती है. You're born with certain qualities, right? Your parents, tell others कि ये ऐसा है, इसमें ये चीज बड़ी अच्छी है, वो अपने आप है. When you're born with some innate qualities that comes from your genes. Secondly, when you are growing up, you learn a few things, right? You acquire. I don't say learn, it is acquiring. मतलब वो उसमें एफर्ट नहीं आप कर रहे, लेकिन आपके इन्वायरमेंट, आपके पेरेंट्स, आपके रिलेटिव्स, आपके फ्रेंड्स, there are so many people who actually contribute to our life. So those people are contributing and we are acquiring that unknowingly. बिना एफर्ट किए हमने वो अपने आप सीख लिए. Those are your strengths. Either you're born with that or you actually have acquired those unknowingly, right? और knowingly भी हो सकती हैं. जैसे आपने hard work, let's say that you're a very hardworking person. The hard work is something that you might have learned with the kind of challenges that you have faced in your school days. तो ज्यादा, लेकिन फिर भी मैं कहूंगी कि एक्वायरिंग में क्यों बोलती हूँ बार बार, बिकॉज देयर इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन एक्वायरिंग एंड लर्निंग. लर्निंग इज कि आज मैंने आपको बोल दिया कि आपको you will have to be prepared with R, Python, Java. Now these are the popular languages. C++ is little old style. That was already there, in 1995 also it was there. So now it's 2022. So we are talking about Python and R and Java more than those languages, but definitely we should have a background of C++ too, because that's the base actually that teaches you about programming. Now, when you are learning these things, these technical skills, that I am learning Python, I am learning any particular programming language, or I am learning, let's say, DDMS, or the front end back end interface that's there in computer. So anything that you're learning, or let's say machine learning, artificial intelligence, and you want to work in that area. So if you're learning all these things, you're deliberately learning all these things, and those cannot be your strengths. Those are your skills that you are learning, right? You are adding to your knowledge because it is required in your career. But strengths are something which are your habits, your nature, which you have already acquired unknowingly during your school days, your college days, or maybe you're born with it. So please understand, I have already mentioned about this, but I'm repeating it over here so that you don't get confused. So something that's there in you, part of your character, your behavior, your nature, that's your strength. And when the interviewer asks you to talk about your three strengths, then it should be straightforward. The qualities that you have in your personality, those are your strengths. And we have had a good discussion on that already. So I hope I'm not going to take it, to a head, because you already know about it. You can think about it and get yourself prepared with three strengths, right? Now let's come to our weaknesses. Now, there are two ways of answering this question. What are your weaknesses? Two ways. Remember, please. This is very important, because sometimes this question costs us the job. I mean, we lose the job on the basis of the wrong answer that we give in this particular question. There are two ways of answering this question. Number one, we are being very honest, and we have to definitely talk about our weakness, right? We are being honest and we are talking about our real weakness. What is that? Let's have a look at the example in another PPT. Now, if you can read it, the first one, I have never been very comfortable with public speaking. which, as you know, can be hindrance in the workplace. Realizing this was a problem, I asked my previous employer if I could enroll in a speech workshop. He said yes. I took the class, and then, I got proficient in that. This is being true, being truthful in the interview. Now, the person is saying that I have not been comfortable with public speaking. Now, if you are a software programmer, you don't need, on everyday basis, you don't need public speaking, isn't it? You need something else, right? You need your analytical abilities to actually maybe analyze data, or in the sense that for programming also, mathematical abilities and analytical abilities are very much required. So if you need those skills more than public speaking, you know that. But if you're a good public speaker, maybe as you progress in your career, you won't be software programmer always. You will grow up the ladder. You will become team leader. So in IT companies particularly, how do they promote you? They make you team leader. So you have a team and you become a team leader. So when you become a team leader, you don't have to all the time do programming. What you have to do is you have to assign work to different people and then check their programs so that there is no error. So as you progress, as you climb up the ladder, you will need leadership abilities, public speaking. So these abilities are required at a higher level, right? So if this person is giving this answer, this means that public speaking ability was not detrimental to your job. That is, detrimental का मतलब कि वो ये मेरे पास नहीं थी, तो इससे मेरे को ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं ये वाला प्रोफाइल का जॉब कर नहीं सकती, मैं कर सकती हूँ, बिकॉज मेरे पास प्रोग्रामिंग एबिलिटीज है. ठीक है. सो deliberately I have picked a skill which is an important skill for a senior position, which I did not have, but I wanted to develop it, and I developed and became successful in that. So right now, if I'm appearing in interview and I don't have this skill, that is okay. I'm developing that skill. I don't have it right now. That is absolutely okay. So are you understanding me? So even if you are being truthful in the interview and you are telling about your weakness, you are actually telling about something, some weakness which may not be detrimental to the organization in which you are working. मतलब उसको कोई हार्म नहीं होना चाहिए आपकी वीकनेस से. ये ऐसा आंसर देना है. आपने कोई ऐसा आंसर नहीं देना जिससे आपको ये जॉब ना मिले, या फिर अगर आपको मिल जाए तो आपकी कंपनी को नुकसान हो. सोच समझ के ये आंसर देना. So this answer will actually save the person, because right now I don't need public speaking too much, but down the line after 3 years I will definitely need it. So right now I don't have public speaking skills, but I am developing on that. I have attended certain workshops. That's how you answer it. One way of doing it. You can read others also. I had troubles in the past with planning and prioritization, all general things, right? Planning and prioritization. But this is a negative aspect, right? However, I'm now taking steps to correct this. I just started using a pocket planner. So a way of answering this question is that I had problems in this particular area. Talk about past. I had this weakness in the past. I started working on that, and now give a solution to the interviewer that this is the solution that I am using, I am implementing, and I have overcome it. So don't talk about something, some weakness that is there in the present, right? Because that may cost you this job. Very carefully, diplomatically, you will have to answer this question. Very, very carefully, right? कि मेरे पास ये पहले ये प्रॉब्लम था, and I started working on that, or I'm still working on that, and this is the solution I think, and I have started implementing that. That's how you will tell the interviewer that you are not a perfect human being. You have weaknesses, but you know how to resolve those problems in your personality. You are giving a solution at the same time, right? You are not keeping it open-ended and just telling कि मेरा I'm not good at communication skills. आपने यही छोड़ दिया, तो वो सोचेंगे कि ये तो बात ही नहीं कर सकता, कल को MNC में काम कैसे करेगा? We have clients from London, America. How will he interact? In fact, today they are looking for people who are particularly IT sector, They're looking for people who know more languages than just three. So we are most of us are trilingual people. We know Hindi, that's our national official language. We know English obviously because the medium of education is English, and we know our mother tongue, our regional language too. So we have three languages already in hand, but they are looking for people who know some any international language because they have their clients from different countries. So that is the reason that uh, I mean you have to show your strengths more than your weaknesses. So if you have some weakness, show that this is how you are going to work on your weakness, or you are already working on your weakness, and one day you will overcome it completely. And this is the solution to this is the action that I have taken. Okay, one thing. The second way of answering this question is actually do not talk about your weakness. Talk about some hidden strength that may create a weakness for you, but may become a strength for the company. How? Let me give you an example. uh, आपने सुना होगा बहुत सारे लोग कहते हैं for some of the actors particularly in the entertainment industry that आमिर खान के लिए ये वर्ड बहुत यूज होता है कि आई एम अ परफेक्शनिस्ट, ही इज अ परफेक्शनिस्ट। वी ऑलवेज से कि वो ना उसके साथ काम करना बड़ा मुश्किल है क्योंकि वो बहुत गलतियां निकालता है और वो बहुत ज्यादा उसको होता है कि हर चीज में परफेक्शन मिले। सम पीपल आर लाइक दैट, and I am talking from my experience of listening to certain interviews. So aati rehti hain, right? So some of the actors while giving interview they said that it is difficult to work with Amir Khan because he's a perfectionist. He wastes a lot of time on bringing perfection to the work. Now imagine being a perfectionist is a weakness for Amir Khan because it wastes a lot of time. But it's a strength for the director because then he can have a perfect shot with Amir Khan. So this is one way of answering that I'm a perfectionist. I tend to be, I tend to be too perfect in everything. I look at all the nuances meticulously मतलब बहुत बारीकी से मैं हर चीज को देखता हूँ. I work on everything meticulously, which sometimes drain me a lot, but then it helps me give a perfect result. So what are you saying? You're actually talking about a hidden strength which may be a weakness to you because you have a habit of doing like that, but it proves to be beneficial for the organization. So two ways, you decide what do you want to say. The first one is easier one because there you are being truthful but at the same time giving a solution. ठीक है, पर कभी भी ऐसे नहीं कहना है इंटरव्यू में my weakness is that I am not good at communication skills. This is a prerequisite for everybody, and I assume that all of you have good communication skills. Even if you don't have, don't say it in the interview because that's a prerequisite. पहले प्री कंडीशन है, आप उसके बिना नहीं कोई भी जॉब कर सकते। अगर नहीं भी अच्छी है तो भी कोई बात, ठीक है। So rather than saying communication skills, maybe you can say I am, just like this person has said about public speaking. You can say persuasive skills, public speaking skills, where you have to go on stage and speak. That may not be required very much right now, but after 2 to 3 years, so you can say that I'm not, excellent at that, but I'm working on it. That's it. Don't say that I'm not good at. I'm not excellent at something, but I'm trying to perfect my skill. That's how you can answer. So I hope things are clear. Now, this was a very tricky question, which I don't want you to be too truthful in the interview and lose your marks by saying I don't have good communication skills. Some people say that, and some have said it in the speaking skills assessment too. And mind it, don't talk about your weaknesses in the introduction question, please. That's a separate question. Weakness question is a separate question, not the introduction question. So when somebody asks you to introduce yourself, you're only going to talk about yourself positively. your background, your educational qualification, and your skills and strengths, your current skills and strengths. You are not going to talk about weaknesses, right? If you don't want to talk about strengths in the first question, then talk about skills definitely, because that is required to tell the interviewer that you have an expertise in this area, technical as well as personal skills. Strengths and weaknesses could be another question, right? So don't talk about particularly weakness in the first question itself. Please remember that. Okay, how do you relate your extracurricular activities with your nature or what you have learned from your extracurricular activities? Let's say, like Pranav said that he talked a lot about technical things that, he's done this language, he's doing projects, and he wishes to join this particular area of artificial intelligence or machine learning, right? But if you, I mean, anybody, if you don't have uh, any background, any projects in hand, if you don't have any certifications, then it is always good to highlight your extracurricular activities in school days or in college days. If you don't have many projects, internships, anything in your hand, please remember you can highlight extracurricular activities. You can say, so how do you define it? You can say that, um, being a football player for these many years, I have learned coordination, cooperation, team building, teamwork, leadership skills. So you can pick and choose any. Being a football player or a national level player or a state level or whatever, or any other sport you can talk about, being into these activities, I have learned these skills. So you're actually, with the help of an example from your own background, from your own extracurricular activities, you are actually drawing certain skills, which become, stars of your personality, on your stars on your shoulder. Those are stars on your shoulder, just like, it is for army people or defense personnel. So you're understanding how you're drawing these out from your experiences. So if you don't have any background, any certifications, for those of you who do not have much to write in resume, highlight your extracurricular or co-curricular activities. You may not have won awards, but you must be having some kind of participation, definitely. If not in school, outside. Some people also go for sports academies, and they participate, and they go for district level, state level, or national level matches from the academies. So whatever you have, whatever best you have to bring it out in these answers really well. So deliberately I have designed this question like this: how do you relate your extracurricular activities with your nature? This will not be the question. The question would be situational, that what have you learned from your experiences in this particular sport, right? Or if you highlight it in the introduction that I have participated in some of the matches, then the person would draw another question out of your introduction and ask you, okay, what have you learned with the experience in sports for these many years in school? So what have you learned, or what change this sport has brought into your nature, your personality, your character? So the interviewer can choose any word. The words may differ, the sentences may differ, but look for the meaning in the questions. If you can understand the meaning in the question, you would know. Now, again, reiterating the same thing, you are the driver of your interview. You are the driver, not the interviewer. So when they ask you, tell us about yourself, the best things in your personality should come out in the introduction answer. Now, if you tell me about your current education, your past, maybe some kind of languages you've learned, and the extracurricular activities, the next question that I would tend to ask you is on the basis of the languages that you have done. If I'm a subject expert, if I'm not a subject expert, I am an HR manager who is checking your personality. So always in the interview, there are two kinds of people. One subject expert, right? And another would be the HR manager. What does the HR manager do? He checks your personality. And that is actually the most critical one, because the subject expertise you already have, isn't it? You are appearing in the interview, you will prepare yourself really well for your subject. And when you come for the interview, any kind of questions on the basis of your subjects would actually grab you good points because you are experts already. But the tricky questions are the HR questions, which are general questions, and they check your personality with that. So whatever you say in the introduction, the next question will definitely be based on what you answer in the first question. So if you say you have done these languages, your aim is to go into machine learning, you're talking more of technical, then the next question will be asked by somebody who is a technical person who has subject expertise, and he will throw a difficult question in front of you regarding your subject. But if you don't have any projects and all, and you are thinking of talking generally about your personality, you're talking about your skills and your participations, then the next question would be based on your the kind of changes this extracurricular activity has brought in your personality, just like the third question. So remember, you are the drivers. Whatever you say in the introduction, the next question will be based on that. And similarly, another question will also come out of the answer of your second question. Whatever you answer in second question, the third question could be situational question. When you will be given a situation, or you'll be asked for a situation in the past that this was a challenging time, how did you handle that? So when you answer that question for a situation, that will tell the interviewer about your personality, that in case there are challenges in the company, there are conflicts, there are miscommunications, there are issues in team building, then how will you handle that? Because it's not only about knowing your subject. That's one aspect, definitely, the most important one. But the other aspect is your personality. If you don't show a good personality in the interview, you may be a great personality, but sometimes we don't prepare ourselves well and we randomly answer. We don't plan the answers. The most important thing is you need to why we are doing this drill in the classes, because we are anticipating the questions. कैसे questions पूछे जा सकते हैं इंटरव्यू में, हम वो डिस्कस कर रहे हैं जनरल क्वेश्चंस को. सब्जेक्ट क्वेश्चंस आप बेहतर जानते हैं, लेकिन जनरल एचआर क्वेश्चंस आपको पता होने चाहिए कि ये जनरल क्वेश्चंस होते हैं. And on the basis of these questions, how do I design my answer? Write it on a piece of paper, anticipate, understand, write down, reframe it, revise it. Then you would know that this is how I will be able to grab this project really well by answering in this manner. So ये आपको देखना होगा, आपको practice करनी होगी. Okay, so which subjects do you like the most? Accounts, math, anything, I mean, from your area, particularly if you can talk about your languages over here. This is a technical question which subject expert would ask you. Major learnings from your certifications. Again, this is a technical question, but here what the interviewer is demanding, your technical skills. That Pranav talked about, that I have these ability. मेरे को ये लैंग्वेजेस आती हैं, मैं ये अच्छा हूँ, मैं इसमें अच्छा हूँ. So what are your learnings from certification? So technical skills that you have acquired, that you have learned during the process of your certifications, diploma, anything that you have done, here you have to highlight that. ठीक है, पहले वाले में क्या था एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर में? Skills as well as strengths, your personal skills and strengths. But in the last question, it is more about technical skills. अब देखिए, सारी एचआर इंटरव्यू सिर्फ स्ट्रेंथ्स और स्किल्स और वीकनेसेस और जनरल आपके कैरेक्टर पर्सनालिटी के ऊपर रिवॉल्व करती है. क्वेश्चंस के फॉर्म बदल जाते हैं बट मीनिंग वही रहता है. नाउ लुक एट दीस क्वेश्चंस. टेल अस अबाउट योर स्किल्स which makes you more suitable than others for this job. In this particular question, again, it is based on skills, right? What kind of skills you have that makes you more suitable than your colleagues? आपके जो क्लासमेट्स हैं सब एक उसके लिए अपीयर हो रहे हैं, मान लो एक इंटरव्यू के लिए अपीयर हो रहे हैं, इंटर्नशिप के लिए, And why are you so special? Why should we take you and not your classmate? That is a very, very common question. So how will you answer that? Obviously, you have your skills, right, with you. You have a skill set already in mind. You have prepared for it. But when you are going for any kind of projects or internships in a company, मतलब उसकी इंटरव्यू में अपीयर होना है आपने, या फिर कल को जॉब के लिए भी अपीयर होना है. So then what will you do? I always tell you that you have to look for some keywords. What are those keywords? You have to understand the job profile, the expectations of the interviewer, the expectations of the company. वो कैसा इंसान ढूंढ रहे हैं, क्या क्या नॉलेज होनी चाहिए उसको. Always when a company advertises something, the company will write down in the advertisement about the educational qualification number one, the technical skills number two, and the personal skills. So these are the three prerequisites which the company always highlights in advertisement. चाहे वो ऑनलाइन एडवर्टाइजमेंट आ रही है किसी मे बी you get it on social media platform or news channels or whatever, news platform, or maybe you find it in newspaper, anywhere, everywhere. For a job profile or for any kind of internship projects, the company will highlight the keywords that we are looking for a computer graduate who has expertise in Python, C, R, etc., and who has good analytical abilities or good leadership abilities or anything. ठीक है. सो मेरे दिमाग में ये दो तीन आ रहे हैं, आप बेहतर जानते हैं क्या आएगा. आपके एरिया से रिलेटेड कौन कौन सी स्किल्स इंपॉर्टेंट है. So anything that's highlighted in the job advertisement, you have to align your answer with that. If this is the question, that why you are more suitable than others, because I have these particular skills and I have expertise in this area. Technical में expertise की बात करनी है, और personal skills में you will say that I have these skills. So the same question but asked in a different manner, that why you are more suitable. So here we are not just highlighting about our general skills, we are actually aligning our skills with the job requirement. ये बात आप आज ही नहीं याद रखनी है, हमेशा के लिए आपको याद रखनी है. After 2 years or after 1.5 years, when you will actually start appearing in interviews, if you are not going ahead with your post graduation, then you will have to again emphasize on this, anticipate, write down the answers for these questions. Let's say you're going for post graduation, you are not going for job after graduation. What will you do? Same questions will be asked. Why should we take you as a postgraduate student in our college? Why are you more suitable than others? Why are you better than others? Same question can come. So why? Because here for the educational purposes, you can highlight that because I already have expertise in this area, and my goal, my aim in life is to go into this particular area. And I think by doing post graduation, I will be able to, make myself more professional or gain more professional expertise, become a better professional, and achieve my goal of becoming a programmer or going into artificial intelligence or whatever. Right? So aligning your past expertise with something that you'll gain in post-graduation with the demand of the industry. Three things you have to align together, right? So same question can be asked by a college, same question can be asked by an internship hiring company, or job, right? So other ways of asking this question is, how are you different from other candidates? Why should we select you? Why should we choose you? Tell us an instance when you worked in team. Now, this is another question, but this is more related to teamwork. If you say that you have teamwork abilities, then the next question could be, tell us an instance when you worked in team and you faced challenges and you could actually show that you are a good team leader or a team worker. So situational question. So instance means they want to ask you an example, because they want to check whether you're lying or whether you're being true in the interview, right? So when you're lying, you just pick some words from internet, like some of the students do. वो देख लेते हैं इंटरनेट पे, देख के वो रट्टा मार के अपनी वो दे देते हैं। जैसे कि स्पीकिंग स्किल्स में भी कुछ लोगों ने ऐसा किया कि किसी से हेल्प ली या फिर इंटरनेट से हेल्प ली। So I'm not pointing out, I don't remember because I'm talking about a huge lot of 250 people, not just your class. But कई बार हम इधर उधर से words लेके हम अपना बोल देते हैं, but क्या वो words को justify कर पाएंगे? That's important. Will you be able to justify with an example in the interview? Then only use those words in your resume and use those words in the interview. अगर आप टीम वर्किंग बता ही रहे हैं, you should be ready with any example from your past, right? Remember that, please. What have you done in your internship or workshop? Now you haven't done internship, so maybe later on you can design this answer. But if you have done some projects, any short-term projects, then talk about those, right? What you have learned from those, what you have done, and what was the outcome of those projects. What are your short-term, long-term goals, visions? Most of you have talked about these goals in the speaking skills test in the first in the self-introduction part only. So when we may not use that this particular information in the first go itself, but if you're very clear, like for example, Pranav said that. See, I'm repeatedly giving these examples of Pranav because there were only 3 people who talked about the introduction, and I'm picking up from those answers. Pranav said that I wish to pursue my career in artificial intelligence or machine learning, right? So if you're saying that my aim is to go into this field, if you think that the company is such that the company would like your answer of going into artificial intelligence tomorrow, then definitely you should add one line in the introduction itself. If you think that the company is offering a project or internship in programming, then you can change your answer and say that I wish to be a good programmer, and I wish to be an excellent programmer in a reputed company, or you can also talk about if you think that you want to go into Google and the Google has come to interview you, then why not say Google? Yes, you can say that. That's one way, right? Or if you're not using this sentence in the introduction part, then it's a separate question. What are your short-term, long-term goals or vision in life? Your short-term goals, give concrete answers. Don't say that I want to have a good job. My short-term goal is I want to have a good job in IT. Long-term goal, I want to be at a senior position in a reputed company. These are vague answers, right? You should be very clear about the areas in which you want to explore, may it be programming, artificial intelligence, machine learning, anything. I mean, you decide, hardware, software, database management, or anything that you like the best, right? You can go into hardware too. I mean, great business of everything runs on, hardware today, isn't it? The chips. There's a revolution. I was listening to a video once, and there was some senior, very, very senior professor of some top university of US. I don't know. That video became really viral on WhatsApp, and he was telling, in a huge meeting, he was telling the audience that chips will cost just. There will be time when chips will actually cost equal to the garbage. जितना गार्बेज का पैसा मिलता है उतना ही वो चिप्स का जो आपकी चिप्स लगती नहीं है उसमें कंप्यूटर के उसमें हार्डवेयर में, and there'll be lenses, there'll be lenses which can be fitted into the eye, and you blink it and you can Google it. You go into the virtual reality actually, and you Google everything with your eyes. There is no need to have a device in front of you. So a time will come. So it is revolutionizing actually the IT sector. So if you're clear that you want to go into this particular area, you need to be very clear. Concrete answers are required, right? So I'm ending it over here. We can carry it forward in the next class. But most of the questions I have covered, I'll also share this PPT with you for some model answers. But don't assume that these are the final answers. No, these are just examples. You have to build your own answers. There are a few questions where which you can have a look at. Also, I will share another document. This one on the drive itself. You can go through these, but design your own answers, right? And what is left in my PPT is about how to dress up, what to carry, what not to carry, how to behave, little mannerism, etiquette, etc., which I can cover in just 10 minutes in the next class. But before that, let me just quickly tell you the last few questions that is about family. Now, some of you have used these things in the introduction itself. You're not going to use it. Family becomes important in the next question. Will your family be supportive? They are not interested in your family. Obviously, do you have a brother or a sister doesn't matter to the employer. What matters to the employer is you. What is your expertise? No, if they like you, they will ask you who all are there in your family. If you have to be relocated to Hyderabad, let's say, will your family allow you, or Bangalore, the hub of IT, will you be comfortable relocating to Bangalore? Who all are there in your family? Then the family part becomes really important, right? Because they want to know about your background. Will your family be supportive or not? Particularly for girls, they parents generally don't send them too far away. So the companies definitely ask this question from girls that is it comfortable to get relocated? So then the role of the family comes in. But initially, don't talk about your brothers, your sisters, what does your father do? No, not required. That's a separate question which the interviewer will ask you in case he feels the need, right? Which is your favorite music album, song, paint something for us? All of these are questions from your hobby. Let's say that you don't have much in your resume and you have already described about your extracurriculars and all. You have also written about your hobbies in your resume, and these would be the kind of last questions in the interview. That if you have written my hobby is listening to music or playing some instrument or painting, then they can ask you generally to check your presence of mind, that whether you are into it or it's just a time pass for you. Hobby is something which we are passionate about. So don't just write anything in the resume that listening to music is my hobby. No, it's about being passionate about something. So अगर आपने लिख दिया कि मेरा my hobby classical music, तो आपको वो राग के बारे में क्वेश्चन पूछ लेंगे जरूर. आपको आता नहीं आता होगा तो आप फंस गए. ठीक है. सो कोई भी ऐसी चीज रिज्यूमे में नहीं लिखनी है जिसके लिए आप कॉन्फिडेंट नहीं. If you like playing cricket, you should be thorough with all the international, popular players, and maybe some knowledge about the matches, recent matches. ठीक है, आपको आना चाहिए. ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि प्लेइंग क्रिकेट का मतलब बस गली क्रिकेट ही है. नहीं, थोड़ा सा रिसर्च करके जाइए. चाहे आप गली क्रिकेट ही खेलते हो, बट इफ यू आर फॉन्ड ऑफ प्लेइंग क्रिकेट, देन यू शुड बी thorough with the all kinds of information because of Holi. Happy Holi.